Hi guys, well today I wanted to talk to you about our meter for the Fuji camera I use. The Fuji has no metering system and it's a totally manual camera, so obviously I need to determine how I get my shutter speeds and make exposure times. Well, there's three ways we could do this. We could guess, which obviously is not very good. We could use the Sunny F16 rule, or we could use a light meter. My chosen method is the light meter. And I use a Sekonic. It's a 608 Zoom Master light meter. It's got two methods of reading light. It's got incident, which is the dome, and then it's got spot meter looking through that. The spot meter is basically reflected light meter, a bit like your digital cameras in your matrix mode. But the beauty of a spot meter is I can go right down to 1 degree or to 4 degree. Always use it at 1 degree, so it's picking out a very, very tiny little area of the scene, so it can be very, very precise. And that's that's my method. And I'll explain instant and why I don't use the instant light meter reading. It's a very easy device to use as instant, because literally you just hold it up above your head, facing the sun, press the button, and that gives you your meter reading. But the problem is with that method, in the landscape, 90% of the time, you'll be in the shade. Your subject might be in the sunlight, so obviously you hold it up and you're in shade, you're going to get an incorrect meter reading. So that is why I don't use it. I don't. Some people swear by it, not for me. So my method is the spot meter. Now, ideally, what we really want to point in the meter at is a medium grey. Now, unfortunately, we've not always got that hand in the landscape. And with practice, you can learn all the different mid-tones. Sunlit stone buildings, tarmac, slated roof, blue sky opposite the sun's quite good, but again they're not 100% accurate. You can use them and then you might have to alter it a little bit. You know, for me, averaging a scene out with a spot meter is the way forward, and that's the way I work. I'm not saying that's the correct method, but it works for me and I seem to don't have any problems with it. So let's explain how we do that. So firstly, let's say we're shooting in Fuji Velvia today. We set the meter to ISO 50. Say we're, again, for an example, we're using f22. That meter's now set. So basically we start by looking into the scene and we want to find the brightest area in the sky, which I'm guessing will be that cloud, and it is. And that's giving us 30 to the second. We then press the memory button on the front and log that into the system. We're now going to look at the foreground and we want a shadowed area where we want to remain detailing. So we're going to look down there and we've got half a second. Again, press the memory button, log it into the device. And then what we're going to do, we're going to press the average button. And that's given us a working exposure of 1/8 of a second at f22. Now, let's say for instance, the shadowed area I've measured, I'm thinking that the exposure time might not give me enough detail in it. I might stop down and go to 1/4 of a second just to give me that little bit more light into the shadows. Because with film, not like digital, you know, if your shadows block up, you know, there's nothing you can do. I've got to get it right. So I sometimes will play on the side of caution and add an extra stop to get plenty of shadow detail. If I'm using the 105mm lens, I need to add a stop as well for that. So it might be, if we're down to 1/4 second, we've got a half a second exposure time. Now, while we're in average mode, what we also need to do is check the tonality of the scene, and this is to see if the scene is in range of the film. Now, on Fuji Velvia, we've got a -2 and a +2. We need to be within that. So while we're in average mode, we will again point up, and we have got 1.9 on the brightest area. That's +1.9, and the shadow area is -1.8. So that is within range of the film without using a grad filter. If I'm using Kodak Hector, we've got a bit more. Well, we've got a lot more range. It's a very versatile film, is Kodak Hector, and with that as long as we're within +4 and within -4, again, it's within range of the film and we don't have to use a grad filter to hold exposure back on the sky. And so yeah, that's basically how I meter. It really works for me, and I'm happy with that system that I use. If anybody wants to have a play with the meter or ask any questions, again, call me at interval or at the end and we'll go through it again. Thanks.